On 10th of March 1914, Mary Richardson entered the doors of the National Gallery, London. She was hiding an object underneath her coat. She came to the National Gallery not to browse or admire the masterpieces of art. She came to see one particular painting, and when she finally approached it, she removed the chopper knife she was hiding underneath her coat and began to cut the painting into pieces. The painting she chose for her attack was Diego Velázquez's 1651 masterpiece, Venus at her Mirror, or as it is known today, Rokeby Venus. The damage that Richardson managed to inflict before the members of public intervened was devastating. The 7 slashes she made on the Venus's body proved to be difficult to repair. Later, Richardson explained her motivation by saying, "I have tried to destroy the picture of the most beautiful woman in mythological history as a protest against the government for destroying Mrs. Pankhurst, who is the most beautiful character in modern history." Emmeline Pankhurst was one of the most charismatic leaders of the English suffragette movement, and by destroying Mrs. Pankhurst, Richardson meant her imprisonment by the government at the time. Decades later, however, in an interview, Richardson said that the motivation of her vandalism was the way men visitors gaped at Rokeby Venus all day long. She objected men's lascivious nature. In that sense, Richardson's views were not that different from those of Spanish Inquisition, because Rokeby Venus is the only painting by Velázquez that portrays a nude figure. Painting nudes was prohibited by the Spanish Inquisition, citing the same reasons as Richardson's. And this is where one of the mysteries around this painting begins. First of all, nobody knows why would Velázquez risk his reputation, career, and even his life to create it, and by whom this painting was commissioned. And second, it is said that there was a curse that haunted those who owned this painting. I don't believe in supernatural forces, but I do believe in the magical powers of great art. To understand why many people throughout history thought that this painting might be cursed, we should take a closer look at what it depicts. Rokeby Venus depicts the goddess of Venus in a sensual pose, lying on a bed and looking into a mirror, held by the Roman god of physical love, her son Cupid. There are numerous works that can be cited as sources of inspiration for Velázquez. Gorgione's Sleeping Venus or Titian's Venus of Urbino are some of them. But the masterpieces that resemble this painting the most are Peter Paul Rubens's Venus at her Mirror, Titian's other depiction of Venus, and Hans von Aachen's painting called Couple with a Mirror. Take a closer look at the reflection of the faces that we can see in the mirror. We, the viewers of these paintings, have the impression that Venus is admiring her own reflection. However, when we see the face of Venus in the mirror, we can see that Venus is not looking and admiring herself, but is staring at us. This psychological trick that was used by Titian, Rubens, and Aachen is often referred to as Venus effect. What makes Velázquez's painting different from, let's say, Rubens's or Titian's is that we cannot see the face of Rokeby Venus at all. And when we look at the reflection of her face in the mirror, the author of this painting left it deliberately blurry and almost featureless, leaving it to us, the observers of this painting, to imagine what the face of Venus is like. So, where did the curse begin? It seems that neither the art dealer nor the Spanish marquis who first owned the painting seem to have met any tragedies in their lives. The first mention of a curse comes when the painting gets into the possession of the 13th Duchess of Alba, Maria Cayetana de Silva. She was considered to be one of the most beautiful and certainly was one of the wealthiest women in the world at the time. Her court painter was famous Francisco de Goya himself, the author of unique but terrifying black paintings. He also made multiple paintings of the Duchess, and it was rumored that they were in love with each other. After Goya passed away, they found in his possession paintings that depicted Duchess undressed. Duchess died mysteriously when she just turned 40. Some say it was a suicide. They say that she looked at the painting of Rokeby Venus that hanged on her wall every day, and it reminded her of her fading beauty. After the sudden death of Maria de Silva, Rokeby Venus came into the possession of one of the ministers to the Spanish king, whose name was Don Manuel Godoy. Godoy placed Rokeby Venus in his residence. He was the first Secretary of State and was nicknamed as the Prince of Peace for ending long-lasting wars in Pyrenees that Spain was involved. However, his softer and more diplomatic stance to Napoleon proved disastrous to him. Many Spaniards blamed the horrific disasters that Napoleon's forces inflicted on them on Godoy's neutral stance, and as a result, Godoy ended up in exile. This is where the rumors of the curse of Rokeby Venus begin to spread again. The rumors said that its mysterious curse magnified Godoy's pride and vanity and made him forget the interests of his own country. When Don Manuel Godoy fled Spain, he left many of his prized possessions at home, so Rokeby Venus lost its owner, and after some time it traveled across the mainland Europe over to England, where it was bought by the politician and classical scholar with a long name, John Bacon Sowry Morit. Morit was close friends with the leading English portrait painter, Sir Thomas Lawrence, and it was him who suggested to Morit to purchase the painting for his estate, Rokeby Park, and that's where we get the nickname for this painting. There were no tragic events recorded in Morit's life. He died at the age of 71. After the death of Morit, the painting was bought by the King of England himself, Edward VII, and was put on display at the National Gallery, London in 1906. It was 8 years after the Rokeby Venus was put on display at the National Gallery, London, when Mary Richardson decided to attack it. This vandalism reignited the forgotten rumors of Rokeby Venus's curse. It is true that not every owner of this painting met a tragedy in their lives, but this raises an important question. If the curse exists, then why does it affect some individuals and not the others? Why did Velázquez's Venus supposedly push Maria de Silva to her death, but it didn't affect, for example, John Morit? The answer might be found in the blurry reflection of Venus that Velázquez painted. Velázquez had achieved what Rubens, Titian or Aachen couldn't. He perfected the Venus effect by asking us, his viewers, to seek the image of Venus inside ourselves. The image that we find in ourselves can magnify the beautiful sides of our character as well as the dark sides of it. In the case of Maria de Silva, it made her fall in love with her own exceptional beauty, and she didn't want to see it fading away. In case of Don Godoy, it magnified his vanity and pride, which possibly led to his political mistakes. And of course, in the case of Mary Richardson, it magnified her idea that political ends justify the means. A decade after her attack in the National Gallery, Richardson joined British Union of Fascists and became one of its chief organizers. She abandoned it years later in disillusionment. But there is a man whose name I would really love to mention to you. His name is Helmut Ruhlmann, and he was National Gallery's chief restorer, and it is thanks to him that the damage inflicted by Richardson is invisible to the admirers of painting today.